This is Alternative Political Analysis, and I'm going to discuss Trump's executive office in this video. The Chief of Staff is, of course, Reince Priebus, the chair of the Republican National Convention and former RNC General Counsel. He chaired the Republican Party in Wisconsin as well. He supports Speaker Paul Ryan and Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker. He graduated with a political science and English degree with distinction. He also holds a law doctorate with distinction. He worked for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People in California. He has also worked at the Michael Best and Friedrich law firm. And during his time at university, he was a student president and the college Republicans president. He opposed the blanket Muslim ban to combat Wahhabism, and after that he quashed the Never Trump faction as chair of the RNC, and he is very similar to Wisconsin Representative Sean Duffy in terms of ideology. And this brings us on to the next figure, Steve Bannon, who is Senior Counselor and Chief Strategist. He was the chair of Breitbart News. He was also a Goldman Sachs investment banker, and during that time he negotiated the Castle Rock sale to Ted Turner, and for that he got a financial stake in Seinfeld. He supported Reagan and Sarah Palin. He's anti-Occupy and has praised Dick Cheney. And his second wife, Mary Louise Picard, alleged that he was anti-Semitic. This brings us on to Mike Flynn, who is head of national security. He's a Democrat. He attended the Russia Today gala dinner, and Russia Today paid him to speak on foreign policy, and Trump considered him for the position of vice president before appointing Mike Pence. Carly Fiorina, Scott Walker, Ben Carson and Ted Cruz wanted him in a Republican administration. Michael Flynn thinks the drone program has failed, and there's evidence for this. 90% of casualties in the US drone program were civilians. He supports extreme vetting. He wants to extradite Gulen to Turkey. Now, Fethullah Gulen had a part in the military coup, which later led to Erdogan cracking down on Gulenists after the government had regained power from the military. And Mike Flynn also wants to work with Russia against Wahhabis in Syria, which is welcome. What is not so welcome is the fact that he co-wrote a book with Michael Ledeen, and Michael Ledeen, quite frankly, is notorious for being a far-right neoconservative militarist. And this brings us on to the National Security Deputy, Katie McFarland. She is an Oxford graduate and an MIT graduate, but she is anti-Russian, unfortunately, and she produced the presidential daily briefs during the Nixon and Ford administrations, and worryingly she worked for Henry Kissinger's National Security Council. She was a Reagan speechwriter, and she was in Caspar Weinberger's Department of Defense as Assistant Secretary. She supported the Weinberger Doctrine, which is armed force only for US interests, which it can be summed up as Trump did in the phrase America First, but this was only done after Hezbollah had defeated US forces in Beirut during 1983. And Katie McFarland has won the Civilian Service Award, which is the highest Department of Defense award that there is, and she has criticized Obama on the way he has dealt with the threat of terrorism. And that brings us on to the legal counsel, Don McGahn, and he is another deplorable. He was a Patton Boggs campaign finance lawyer, and he is responsible for loosening the rules of campaign finance and loosening regulations in relation to it. And unsurprisingly, he is pro Koch brothers. Now, if you don't know who the Koch brothers are, they are a family of plutocrats who are heavily invested in the oil industry, and they are also the next people who give the RUC Heckler rifles and Glock pistols. So, lovely people.